All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're looking at a pretty wild truth. Sometimes having absolutely nothing is actually your biggest advantage. We're going to really dig into this nothing to lose mindset and see exactly how it can completely transform a life. It's a crazy story about persistence, facing brutal rejection, and taking massive action when literally all the odds are stacked against you. Personal timing is just a fascinating concept. We've all got our own rhythm, right? Our own timeline for when we want to make that big jump or change our lives. But here's the real kicker. While some people take decisive action to change their circumstances, others just wait. They do absolutely nothing but wait around for something magical to happen. And it's that exact gap between acting and waiting that completely defines success.
All right, let's move on to Section 1, Doors of Opportunity. To really understand how to see success, we first need to visualize it.
Think of opportunities like this. First, you've got your wide open door. This is your extreme luck or immense privilege. You literally just walk right in, though surprisingly, some people still don't. Then, you have the closed but unlocked door. It just takes a tiny push, a little minimal effort to open. But man, so many people won't even try. They just blame the door for being closed and walk away. And finally, the locked dead door. Seemingly insurmountable barriers. This is the door almost all of us will inevitably face, leaving us standing there wondering what on earth to do next.
Which brings us perfectly to Section 2, Facing the Locked Door. Let's look at a real-world example of what this actually looks like. Let's talk about Mr. Songchai Lasai Chua. Today, the guy is a ridiculously successful 10 billion baht billionaire over in the Isan region of Thailand. He runs the massive Toyota Yam dealership, but his starting point was incredibly humble. He was just this slow-talking kid who literally just loved to look at new cars. He'd just go peek at them, dreaming of one day working around them.
But there was a massive obstacle in his way. He self-described himself with this exact quote, "I am a foolish person." He said this because his educational background basically didn't exist. He didn't even finish a third-grade education. This lack of schooling created a towering, seemingly impenetrable barrier between him and his lifelong dream.
Just think about this stark contrast. One day, he's driving past a local car dealership and sees a job posting. The requirement? A formal bachelor's degree. His qualification? Not even finishing the third grade. That is a massive, undeniable gap between his reality and the strict requirements of the professional world. That door wasn't just closed, it was locked tight.
So what happens next? Let's check out Section 3, the nothing to lose pitch.
Now, spoiler alert, it didn't go smoothly at first. Most people would see that bachelor's requirement and just walk away. Somchai actually walked in. But the boss takes one listen to his slow way of speaking, quickly figures out he has 0 degrees, and just completely shuts him down. The answer was a flat, unyielding no. Now, 99% of us would accept that rejection, right? We'd assume that locked door is never opening. But Somchai? He decided to crash right into it. He didn't leave. Instead, he asked the boss for just a brief moment to make 3 very specific, undeniable counter-offers. And this pitch is just legendary. He escalates his dedication perfectly. Step 1, I will do anything. Sell cars, clean the floors, pick up your kids from school, whatever you need. Step 2, I will work 7 days a week. No weekends, 0 breaks, total commitment. And then, step 3, the absolute mic drop, I won't take a salary. 0. He looked the guy in the eye and said he was willing to work for absolutely 0 money. Just let that sink in for a second. He wanted this opportunity so badly that he was willing to trade literally all of his time and backbreaking labor for 0 financial compensation just to get his foot inside that locked door. Which brings us to our final part, Section 4, crashing into closed doors. Let's see the incredible aftermath of this pitch. The boss was just completely floored, stunned by this immense dedication and willingness to work for literally nothing. He hired him on the spot. And honestly, because the boss recognized the sheer heart behind that pitch, he actually decided to pay Somchai a minimum wage anyway. Think about that. The raw audacity and persistence of a guy with a third-grade education completely smashed right through a strict bachelor's degree requirement. It proves that sometimes pure determination heavily outweighs any formal qualification. Look at this crazy trajectory. Day 1, hired with 0 qualifications. A few months later, He's backing up that bold pitch, working those tireless 7-day weeks, and completely winning his boss's absolute trust. Fast forward years later, that relentless work ethic compounded into a 10 billion bot empire. He took a completely locked, dead door and turned it into the foundation of unbelievable success. So as we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with this final powerful question to think about. What locked door do you need to crash into today? Where in your own life are you letting a lack of formal qualifications, a fear of rejection, or some supposedly locked door stop you from making your own daring, nothing-to-lose pitch? Take a hard look at the doors you're standing in front of right now and ask yourself, isn't it time to stop waiting and start crashing through?